just going to wait until someone joins me, but I am sitting in my apartment, sweating. Let's see. No one's here. Everybody's watching the results. All right, we got 3 people. I'm ready to go. I would imagine most people who would be even remotely interested in this stream know why I'm here. I am going to read off the results about 90% in across the city. And ding dong, the witch is dead, or at the very least, very, very incapacitated. With 90% of the vote in Brooklyn, here, let me refresh. 90% of the vote in Brooklyn, Mamdani up by 17 points in Brooklyn. In Manhattan, with nearly 90% in, Mamdani up by 5 points. And Queens, which is, I think, really the difference maker. 90% in, Mamdani up by 7. In the Bronx, 86% in, Cuomo up by 18. In Staten Island, Cuomo up by 9 with 95% in. However, the vote tallies are really what is the key here. Staten Island, 27,000 votes. Cuomo only up by 9 in the most conservative part of New York City. Bronx, Cuomo up by 18 with only 97,000 votes. But in Queens, where Mamdani is up by 7, 208,000 votes with 90% in Manhattan, Mamdani up by 5. 285,000 votes. And from the heartland of America, Brooklyn, Mamdani up by 17, 344,000 votes total. Overall, as of 90% of the votes in, let me refresh, Mamdani up by over 7 points, 43%. Cuomo has 36% with 350,000 votes. Mamdani has 420,000 votes. Brad Lander, 11.5 points with 110,000 votes. And then next up, Adriana Adams, then Scott Stringer, Zellner Myrie, Whitney Tilson, Michael Blake, Jessica Ramos, 3,700 votes. She, I think, had dropped out, but kept her name on the ballot. This is huge. I mean, Mamdani is not just a great candidate in the way that he speaks and his policies, but as an organization and as like just a campaigner has just done a masterful job. Really amazing. We interviewed Mamdani on the show in January, and at the time, he was running against Eric Adams. Since then, Eric Adams dropped out of the Democratic primary. Andrew Cuomo came in. I will tell you that I think maybe in February or March, I thought that it was, I don't want to say a near impossibility, but I thought it was a bit of a long shot. Oh no, quite a bit of a long shot that Mamdani would win. But he has just run a masterful campaign. He has a message that resonates with New Yorkers. He is a great candidate. I don't know what else to say. I can't tell you how happy I am. It's I'm happy for New York City. And you're going to see all those people who said that Eric Adams is the next presidential candidate after the last mayoral election. You're going to see them talk about how New York is not like Iowa. It's not like anywhere else. And that is obviously the case. But Mamdani won in areas where he wasn't supposed to win so decisively. And there is a roadmap for national Democrats. I will remind you that the leader of the Democrats in the House, the leader of the Democrats in the Senate, both are from New York. Both are from New York City. Both live in a borough where Mamdani crushed. They're both in Brooklyn, and Mamdani won by 17 points in Brooklyn. Now, the final numbers aren't in, but it is a real message as to where the Democrats should go. The youth vote that came out in this election, I think, is going to be one of the biggest stories. Obviously, there's going to be some post-election polling, but the numbers of people who supported Mamdani under the age of 50, really, like I think 45 even, it's just astonishing. And this is in a fight where the Cuomo people maybe spent close to $30 million. So this is a real twofer. One, it stops Andrew Cuomo not quite dead in his tracks, but people who are smarter than me, who follow New York City politics, who look at the numbers, are saying that the decisiveness of this victory, not in the second round, not in the third round, the fifth round, the sixth round, the eighth round, the 10th round, but in the first round, Mamdani is handily beating Cuomo. And I suspect in the general election, you're going to see Mamdani and Lander campaign together often. Lander came in third with 11% of the vote. There's a real roadmap here. People should be excited about this moment and excited for what the message is to the Democratic Party. Oh, geez. I didn't realize how risque this was getting. I mean, it really is incredibly exciting. I just left my Mamdani mailer at my friend's house, but this is a big victory. This is, I think, the biggest victory for progressives since AOC. And look, the way my observation has been, the way things grow in society, whether they are, viral videos, or the way our show grows, or the way that anything spreads, is you will see a spike. Then it will return to a new normal that is somewhat higher than the baseline prior to that spike. And it will go along, and then there'll be another spike. And I think this win by Mamdani is the next spike in progressives ascending. And it's really been a function of young people. And for folks who've watched the show for a long time, my feeling prior to the 2024 election was if we can get through the next 4 or 5 years, there's going to be a new generation that is going to dictate and determine the politics of the country. And I think I don't know that we've arrived at that point, but it's a big, big step in that direction. The young people, hopefully, will have time to save us all. But this is really, it's exciting. I wish I could take phone calls right now. It really is so exciting. The only thing I could say is that I know that Emma is probably somewhere on her, I don't know, she's on her honeymoon. I'm pretty sure it's several hours ahead where she is, so I don't know if she's awake, but she's going to be very excited. Very, very excited about this. Still at 90%, according to the New York Times. The last update was just moments ago. 90% of the votes in. And, it's not over until it's really, really over, but it's over. I'm just looking at some of these numbers. It's just we're going to probably see in the fall a general election. Mamdani on the Democratic ticket, Andrew Cuomo on the, I'm not sure what his official party is going to be, Gropers for New York, or corrupt politicians of the past for New York. I'm not sure what the name of his ticket's going to be. But he, as of now, I think you can expect that he's going to be on the ballot. Eric Adams will also be running. I'm not sure what ballot line he'll be on. And the Republican will be Curtis Sliwa, I can never remember. He was very well known in the, I want to say the 70s or the 80s as the leader of the Guardian Angels. And then he's done talk radio since that time, still wearing the beret. Cuomo just conceded. I'm being told Cuomo just conceded. I don't have local news on my my TV, but this is incredibly exciting. I'll try and read some. He conceded. Let's see. He didn't win yet. Well, Cuomo conceded. No, Mamdani has not won the general election yet. And I don't think anybody should rest on their laurels. It's got to be a full court press. The AC is not working in the apartment. We had in my apartment building, we had to shut down the AC from 4 to 8 p.m. And now I don't want it on because I wouldn't be able to hear anything. There's a lot of work to be done before November. This has got to be a slam dunk. And the only way that's going to happen if people continue to be engaged and get out the vote, tell their friends, educate people. But Mamdani has run just such an amazing campaign. I think we're going to get the story at one point about, and I don't know when that will be, with Colbert. That question, it would be interesting to see what the implications were of that, if we get any polling. But that was just so masterfully done. I really don't know what to say. People should be just super excited. The max left has won. In the wake of and The thing that I think, there's going to be a lot of stories that come out of this, but one of them is this alliance between the Democratic Socialists and the progressive wing show a path to victory. So, yes, people are saying props to Landers too. Absolutely. I just don't know. I'm just very excited. I don't know what else really to say. A lot of people saying left is best. Let's see, I'm trying to read his concession speech. Just super excited. Let's see if I can find something else here. Cuomo conceded. Oh, there was like 4 people. Look at this. Oh, I can't. Doesn't look like they were planning for victory. This is really impressive. Really, really impressive. I really don't know what to say. Cuomo says, tonight was not our night. Tonight was Zohran Mamdani's night. Rushing on stage without any notice, Zohran called to congratulate him. He says, as a woman yells, it's not over. But Cuomo knows it. They spent more than $20 million. Just so exciting. So exciting. Someone reminds us that Zephyr Teachout and Cynthia Nixon, who both ran against Cuomo as governor, both of them took big chunks out of Cuomo. In fact, the reason why Cuomo, I think, was unable to run for president when he wanted to was because of Cynthia Nixon. Just so excited tonight. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you. The only place in Manhattan that Cuomo won, he won by 4 on the Upper West Side and 16 points on the Upper East Side. That is not a surprise. But then Mamdani won every other part of Manhattan, short of East Harlem and Chelsea, by double digits. I think people are, there was a lot of people who thought this would go in deep into, the ranked choice voting, multiple rounds. But the idea that we know the answer at 10:30 Eastern is just fantastic. This is such a great victory. I like the fact that Bill Clinton's preferred candidate lost. I like the fact that I'm looking at a tweet now, hyper-engaged, college-educated white liberal moment. My aunt, who lives in Manhattan, says the Clyburn endorsement soured negatively polarized her against Cuomo even more. This was a huge rebuke for the Democratic leadership